Welcome to Institutional Investor Spotlight interview series, where we interview winners from Institutional Investors Executive Team surveys. Today we have Kimberley Lewis, who is Head of Active Ownership at Schroders with us. Schroders has won the first place in the category for Best Investor Engagement at the UK IR Society Awards 2021. The research for the awards is conducted completely independently by ourselves, and the results for the Best Investor Engagement category is based on the feedback received from heads of IR in the UK, and who evaluated basically investment management companies on multiple performance metrics, where Schroders has had a clean sweep, achieving first places across all the metrics.
It is truly an honor to receive this award again. This award really means so much to my team, but also the entire Schroders. This one's particularly meaningful. There tend to be a lot of sort of external kind of rankings and reviews and expectation, but this one comes from the companies ourselves. These are the people that we seek to speak to and influence. And so having that positive feedback and endorsement from actually our target audience makes this award even more meaningful. For us, it's really about having a two-way dialogue and a two-way relationship. And so this really, this award, I think, really kind of endorses our approach, and we're just absolutely thrilled to have it. Well, we really describe our work as three ways. Dialogue, right? Having two-way conversations with the companies, getting to really know them, getting under the hood, and understanding kind of where they are and where they want to be on various ESG issues. Then the second is engagement. When we do identify areas where we think that there could be better drivers of sustainability if certain practices or policies were put in place, then we speak with the companies about sort of our expectations and try to support them on their journey of getting there. And then the third, but can't be overlooked, is voting. And that's during AGM season, where we actually do have, at least on the equity side, a robust proxy voting service where we facilitate voting at AGMs. I do have a team of dedicated engagers. Our primary function is to support our investors in engaging their companies. We're really kind of a fancy kind of support line for our investors and supporting them in their engagements on ESG issues with the companies that they hold. I'd have to say one of the biggest challenges is building consensus. So as I mentioned, we do have a number of different investment desks, and we hold a number of companies that have different investment philosophies and views on sustainability. So we do try whenever possible, when engaging with a company and when voting, to speak as one voice, as one Schroders voice. So part of the role of my team is to really speak to individual desks that hold the same company and have different views, and try to kind of drive alignment so that we are speaking as one voice to the companies. And that can sometimes be a challenge. So I think on active ownership, like all of ESG, it's evolving so quickly. Keeping up with the pace of what our clients are expecting of us on ESG, and therefore what we expect of companies on ESG issues, is just rapidly changing. Historically, it had been kind of very heavy on the G, and ESG was more like around AGM season and kind of how our directors votes and that sort of thing. And now even on the G, they're becoming intertwined. So we now have, looking at what our expectations of boards are on environmental issues and holding directors account for climate change and human capital management issues and diversity. And now we're seeing even a broader array of issues within each of those themes. So E used to sort of just be emissions and climate. Now it's biodiversity and natural capital. The breadth of ESG issues that we are engaging upon is literally expanding exponentially every year. And it's our responsibility to stay ahead of that curve and help our investors to do the same. We see advancements in technology as really an opportunity to do our work better. So we're looking at how we can use technology to facilitate sharing of information about companies between, and engagement on companies between various desks. Just as we as an investment community are have been rightfully accused of having high expectations of the companies we invest in around reporting. We have those same requirements as a corporate and as an active ownership team. So we are looking at the expectations externally of how we report the engagement activity that we've done, how we measure the quality and the impact of our engagement is a huge issue for us. And in order to do that, we have to demonstrate the correlation between our engagement and actual sustainability outcomes. Technology plays a huge role in that, right? Because we have to really kind of track our conversations. We have to be able to analyze the impact of our conversations, and we need to be able to report that out. So really having a best-in-class technology to support us in doing that at a whole group global firm level is really critical. We're, as I mentioned, undergoing a huge kind of change management project to look at whether or not how we can have the best-in-class technology to help support our ambition. One of the things we're trying to encourage is more conversations well in advance of AGM season. And we tend to just see these clustering of like requests for, whether it's remuneration consultations or have a look at our proxies, or, we want to put in our proxy that we engage with our top 20 investors, like let's have a conversation. And a lot of these are happening sort of, December, January, February. And we see quite a leveling out of like the extent of our engagement in some regions, or at least our request for engagement from corporates kind of after, over the summer, May, June, July, August, September. We're always busy because then we've got AGM seasons, in Asia tends to be later in the year. But I think what I would encourage is to really begin engagement for 2023 at the end of 2021 or in early 22. I think we will both, pragmatically, we tend to have a lot more bandwidth to have conversations, particularly with our smaller holdings, when it's not in that sort of rush lead into AGM season. But then it also really gives the corporates more time to really socialize internally our suggestions and to potentially implement them well in advance of putting their proxies out. So I would say really kind of think ahead and let's try to get around the sort of pre-AGM season rush. Well, one, this award has really, really helped. Thank you again to the IR Society for one of the professional goals. And that's really to, we have a long history of engagement and stewardship. We want our clients to know, what we're doing, how much we prioritize being an active owner. We want them to know, I want us to be more transparent about what we're talking about, what we're asking of companies, what type of conversations we're having. And really want to be positioned as kind of a best-in-class active ownership program amongst our clients. So increased transparency, a more external recognition is huge for us. And that's really what I'd like to achieve in 2022. Absolutely. Thanks to you and thanks to the IR Society.